Hola mi familia. Welcome back to Soul Mechanics, finally back in my office, back home. This video is packed with causality. A, my fucking roommate, busted the bathroom, dude. I can't even use the tub. I have no idea. It looks like you fucking murdered somebody in there. Seriously. You're over here. 2, just testing this new little lighting mechanism. It's not so great, but hey, I guess you can see me a little better, right? That's for the dude who complained about not being able to see me. Also, I'm thinking about, I'm going to go ahead and remove that sign up there, because, dude also complained about that, and I'm not sure I like it anymore. I'm going to find something to replace it, do a better job. Now, also, on top of all these, miscellaneous reasons, again, we're promoting the podcast that we're going to be doing, and we've decided on a name, pretty much, a title, but, I don't want to present it yet because there's a chance we might change it. But that's going to be awesome. The reason that we're promoting that here in this video is because intuition is going to be, ultimately, if you understand how spotcasting works and you get down with that, and you understand how to coordinate and orchestrate synchronicities, and you can make full use of your intuition and have trust in it, the intuition, though it may seem like the simplest, subtlest thing that you have, it actually can become the most powerful asset that you have in this game. You can do just amazing, incredible fucking things. If you didn't move fast enough to keep up with it, you can do amazing things. So that's why you're going to promote, because that podcast is going to be directed towards casters and such. And that's, intuition is going to be the ultimate power, really, when you get down to it. Now, on top of that, I would like to very quickly promote a very close friend. This girl is so awesome. She's actually saved my life on more than one occasion, literally saved my life. This girl is an awesome spotter, amazing girl. She's a little shy, but her name is Jessica Zimmerman. She's just published a book of poetry. It's a kind of a story that's written in poetry form, and that's going to be on Kindle. It's called Watercolor Wonders by Jessica Zimmerman. It's going to be on Kindle starting a day. Today is Friday. You can get it for free. And I think this lasts maybe until Monday. You can get this book for free. And the more downloads she gets, the better reception she gets. So please, if you see this, fucking get it, man. It's a free book on Kindle. You can get the Kindle app. It's no problem. Don't be fucking lazy. Help us out. This girl is awesome. She really put a lot into this. She's a shy girl, like I said, so it took a lot for her to do this. And it's, I fought like hell for a while, for years, to try and get this girl to step up and to do that. She finally did it, so fucking back her up, man. Watercolor Wonders by Jessica Zimmerman, free on Kindle throughout the weekend. Okay, so also, a bunch of fucking reasons for this video. One, for anybody that saw the last video, the intuition, I'm not going to cut down that fucking sign now, I'll do it later, but for anybody who saw the last video on intuition, and, I mentioned the philosophical measures of intuition, and you might have looked at it and then realized that I completely fucking missed the point and be like, well, you didn't really describe the philosophy of intuition at all, did you? You didn't even touch on the subject, really. You're right. You're absolutely right. Though I will kind of, defend myself by saying that I was speaking to the philosophical measures of intuition. I was not actually speaking to the philosophy of intuition, nor had I intended to, but it is something that we should bring up for various reasons. Throughout the philosophy of intuition, and, I want to speak directly to philosophy here, and philosophers mainly, because we're generally regarded, the metaphysical community, for the most part, is generally regarded with the philosophical community as though we're one and the same, but I'd like to denote a very strict difference here. The philosophical measure of intuition is going to be kind of looking at intuition as what they see as being a differential between what is intuitive and what is demonstrative, in a sense that something is orchestrated or just is, and that's obviously that's going to be your intuitive faculty in play. As I mentioned before, it's something that you just kind of know, that's sort of programmed into you. But for the most part, the way that philosophy looks at intuition is going to be and psychology also in coordination with this, going to be looking at intuition as what they make a differential between what is intuitive and what is reflective, or what is intuition and what is reflection, and then therein intuitions and reflections are going to break up into what they think of as being implicit or explicit intuitions or demonstrations. Now see, all of this, it doesn't break for me. Like, I don't get it, because I mean, I understand what they're trying to say, I suppose, but when you get into philosophy like this, it all pretty much boils down to a whole fucking glob of gibberish. Like, how is something that's intuitive, and intuition is demonstrative, and intuition is absolutely reflective. That's spot on, precisely what it is. It is reflective. So I'm not seeing, it's not breaking down for me properly, because I don't understand where they're making a differential here. It doesn't make any sense. And that's boiling down to the point of this. Where they look at intuition, in one sense that I want to mention, is that it's going to be like, really, they're looking at the implications of what something is not. Like, for example, it's intuitive for you to know that a circle is not square. It's intuitive for you to know that a square is not triangular. And it's just pretty much implying the absence or the negation of a thing, which, for me, this is pointing directly at the backward thinking kind of mentality, where you're actually directly thinking backwards. You're not even fighting the flow. You're dropping into the void there. And when they speak to the difference between intuition and reflection, or intuition and demonstration, what they pretty much paint it as something that is either just there, that you know because it's not something else, a circle is not square, or it's something that requires a series of conscious steps to coordinate. However, speaking to the intuition, and especially in perspective of the perpetual self, and you actually receiving communications from, again, the daemon figure, or the perpetual self, the higher self, that is your subconscious. So, I mean, or technically you could actually go ahead and say that you, as you're sitting here right now, are the subconscious. You are the part that's not aware. You're working on getting lucidity, on achieving lucidity. A fusion with the perpetual self is what does, in fact, achieve a certain level of lucidity, and then you can train yourself to pick that up and be more awake, be more alert, be more aware, be more understanding. Because, again, speaking to dimensions, there's going to be dimensions in play here that, again, the proper misuse of the term dimension is going to be speaking to, for example, your alertness might be in respect to what you see around you, like I see the cat here, but then there's another dimension to that where I see the cat, but I understand that the cat is rubbing her head against the desk because she wants me to pet her. It's a depth of understanding, and that's going to be moving into what that fourth dimension is. That's a pretty good example for it to bring us there. It's not exactly what it is, but it gets us a little closer. So there's always going to be a dimension to things, like I'm lucid in the sense that I see what's happening around me. I'm intuitive in the sense that I'm reacting to the intuitions that I have, but at the same time, there's the dimension where I'm more lucid because I understand what is happening and why it's happening as it's happening. So that's going to be something you want to think about. But getting into the philosophy of it, the general philosophy of anything, it's like they're going to go ahead and one of the questions I heard about the difference between intuition and reflection, or intuition and demonstration, is, I can't remember who it was. It might have been like Socrates or someone asking a question, is knowledge the same as true judgment? Is knowledge the same as true judgment? Now, if you understand what that's even supposed to mean, please fucking comment it, because to me, I hear this shit and it's like, it's a distraction. It's like, instead of paying attention to what's happening and dealing with the world as it's happening, they're distracting themselves by breaking their thoughts into little pieces. And I can understand the deconstruction process, the wanting to break apart the machine, understand the working pieces of it, but this is not necessary. This is knowledge the same as true judgment? That ultimately doesn't mean a fucking thing. And anybody that's sitting around asking that question, why? Where are you going with this? Like, Get back here, please. You're wandering off. Now, speaking to this, also the perpetual self as being, sort of not a separate self, but as I said, you could be regarded as the subconscious, while the perpetual self or the higher self is going to be the conscious or even super conscious aspect of yourself. It's two different aspects of your being. It's where the value of what you are breaks into aspects. And now, we had someone comment on the last video who said that she used this intuition capacity in the sense that she would see hawks. And hawks would be a confirmation. Beautiful young lady who actually commented. Thank you, madam, for actually giving me feedback. That's awesome. Yeah, I think you're the first person to give me, like, viable feedback that actually relates to the fucking video. Other people want to tell me shit like, you look like you need rest. No fucking shit, dude. I'm busting my ass to help you out. So, wake up, dude. Yeah, I need rest, but I'm not going to get it because I got fucking work to do. In any case, the girl says she sees hawks, and that's a confirmation for her. Now, this is going to go ahead and imply that she's seeing hawks often. I don't see hawks any fucking winter. Ever. Like, I don't remember the last time I've ever seen a hawk. So, A, this is going to be pointing to the intuition at work in the sense that the world is providing cues for people. This girl uses hawks as a confirmation. The world provides hawks to her. I use black cats, butterflies as a sign, as a cue. The world provides it to me. However, a question comes into play as to whether, obviously, if she's seeing hawks, they're there. I'm just not seeing them. So, we have to get to the question as to whether the world is providing cues in the sense that it's causing for things to come into play to affect you, and you're trying to pay attention, trying to catch on to these cues, or are the cues just already there? And it's more a matter of your perpetual self directing your attention to them. Like, because, obviously these hawks have got to be out there, but I'm not seeing them. Now, other people aren't going to be seeing the black cats that I'm seeing all over the place, although they are, in fact, there. Unless I'm a psychopath and I'm hallucinating. Well, no, psychopaths don't necessarily hallucinate. In a sense, they do. But, sorry, that nonsense. But, we have to ask that question now, is it a matter of our attention being dragged to a cue that's already in play? And that brings up various implications, like, for example, if the cue's already in play, it's not actually being put into play for you as it's happening. It's already there. Like, is this all mapped out? And is destiny, even synchronicity, going to be something that's already mapped out and already happened and unchangeable? I can't believe that because I've seen it change. There was another girl I spoke to who, actually the partner I'm working with for the podcast, she mentioned to me, she said that there's a story written in, she's speaking, I guess, in sort of metaphorical terms, but still literally, she's speaking of something that's actual, but it comes across as metaphysical. In any case, she says there's a story that's written in heaven, so to speak, not the biblical heaven, but in a place that we might consider to be heaven. There's a story that's written, there's a book that's written, and what is written in this book cannot be changed, period. It's going to happen. That's what she says. Now, this is going to be a major distraction for the both of us throughout the course of the podcast, because I don't believe that for a fucking second. I've seen it change. I have seen it change. Now, I guess you could raise the question as to whether the changes I've seen transpire were already written into the story. That could be, and there's going to be a matter of debate. Ultimately, it's pointless, because how the fuck are you going to prove it one way or the other? But, I'm going to eventually prove to you guys that it's changed. If you're not invested and you're not seeing what's happening around, look into the Mandela Effect on YouTube. Just bring up Mandela Effect, and there's a lot of nutcases out there. Like, people are obsessed with this fucking thing. For me, it's just inconsistencies. I've been seeing this for a long time, and I know why it's happening, and I've seen it happen so many times, and I've seen things that other people haven't. Like, for me, for example, Bill Cosby died during the trial for the alleged rapes. Yet that didn't happen, but I remember it happening. I do, in fact, remember even watching a movie about Nelson Mandela dying in prison. like a documentary. So, I mean, that happened for me, yet for a lot of other people it didn't happen. And there's things all over the place that are being altered like that. So, in speaking to the question of intuition in the sense that something has already happened and you're just taking notice of it, or is it happening on the spot to direct you and you're actually causal in it happening? Are you directing it to happen? Are you directing the world to provide these cues and to assist you in this way, or is it just something that's already done, like it's on a fucking CD and we're just playing it out? That's a very interesting question, but ultimately, as I said, I've seen it change, and I see inconsistencies all the time. So, you can say I'm crazy, but then there's going to be half of the world that's crazy with me. Nobody else saw the shit with Bill Cosby. I don't get that, but I remember that very clearly. It was on the news. Bill Cosby died of like a heart attack. I think it was not necessarily drug-induced, but something having to do with the medication he was taking, and he had a heart attack. In any case, that obviously that didn't happen, I guess, so I can't really prove that. And I mean, you could say it might be a dream, you could say it might be a hallucination, whatever. I don't care. It's not, it just, this sort of shit happens all the time nowadays, and it's been happening for years and years. And these people who have just started catching on to it and they're like seriously obsessed with it, it's really funny. They come across as nutcases, but a lot of them got a lot of cool shit to say. So check out some of their videos. That's really interesting shit, and eventually I'm gonna tell you guys why that's happening, and you're gonna love it. It's pretty fun. But I suppose that's really it for this video. Is I wanted to just speak to the philosophy of intuition, but generally I wanted to speak to the ridiculousness of philosophy in general. Like, it's just, yeah, if you see some of these, especially the atheist community, when they get into their philosophical debates, and they'll sit there and just drag on and on and on, bantering back and forth, pretty much saying fucking nothing at all. It's kind of funny, but I mean, it's time consuming. At any rate, that's it. I suppose for this is I wanted to speak of the philosophy of intuition, just to kind of cover my ass, because I missed it the last time. Like in the last video, I just completely missed it. And I wanted to speak to that question. That's a pretty good question. The secondary question to that we always have is like, if you have a dream about something that's going to happen in the future, which might be regarded as an intuition, and then that dream comes true, you actually foresee the future. We know, given the observer principle, I don't think they call it the observer principle yet. It's not, they haven't like proven it yet, but eventually it'll be called the observer principle, which demonstrates that our observation is a directive influence upon pretty much the recreation of reality as it happens. Like, we look at something and we actually cause for it to happen. Not only is our observation causing for it to happen, but it is directing the probabilities in play, and you can direct the probabilities in play. I can show you how to do that. But I gotta cut this off because I got 2 minutes left. The question that you ask is, if you foresee something in a dream, given the observer principle in play, did you foresee a future that had already happened, or did you make it happen? That's a question we've been asking forever and ever and ever. So, I mean, the two of those go hand in hand. If you foresee the future, did you see the future, or did you make the future? If you're having intuitions, is it a matter of the world providing cues for you on the spot, or is it a matter of those cues already being there and it just your attention being directed to them? Your perception being drawn or dragged to them. And actually, obviously, ultimately, it's going to come down to a mixture of both. But we'll get into that in another video. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Keelah, Taerve, siari, Namasté.